to Q4Quantum, a monologue where I explain how quantum is becoming useful and also we look into how it is becoming practical and relevant to industry. My name is Sridhar and I'm happy to have you guys join me today for another interesting monologue from the field of quantum. So the Quantum Insider article which we're going to discuss today is how Tamil Nadu, a state in the southern part of India, has signed 4 MoUs during quantum computing ventures at Vetri, Tamil Nadu Conclave 2026. So the 4 companies which we'll be discussing today is, the 4 companies are Quantum Integrated Machines, Aheesa Digital Innovations, TriQuanta Labs, and Quntrolsphere. Now, let's look at the agreement in which these 4 companies have participated. Company Quantum Integrated Machine will set up an operational base in Chengalpet. Quntrolsphere will develop control hardware for quantum communication and quantum computing. TriQuanta Labs, which has offices in Hyderabad and Quantum Valley in Amravati, will set up research and development and engineering operations focused on hybrid quantum computing systems. And Aheesa Digital Innovations, a chip design company, which will bring research, design, and full ownership of Vihan. Now, Vihan is a networking chip designed in India. Now, what does this technically mean? Any practical system to function would definitely need first a qubit, a control electronics, then a signal generation would happen, and then the calibration takes place. Then we have classical compute, then we have the quantum software which is functioning, and then the error correction. And that's the way it goes about, from qubit to error correction, which happens in the system to give you a proper quantum computing, working quantum computers, I would say. Thus, this project targets several of these layers. Talking about the layer where QIM and work on superconducting qubits, and for superconducting qubits to be available, they have to be manufactured in a very extremely low temperature, and microwave precision control has to be taken care while manufacturing qubits using the superconducting architecture. 2. In the quantum control hardware layer, Quntrolsphere role is very important because the quantum computing processors require electronics capable of 1. Generating control pulses, 2. Synchronizing operations, reading qubit states, and performing calibrations. On the hybrid computing quantum side, TriQuanta Labs is working to combine both classical and quantum compute together. Now, why is this topic important? Quantum computing ecosystem in our country cannot scale up by just importing quantum systems. So the domestic capability in our country has to be created, where it has to manufacture quantum hardware, control electronics, semiconductor design, cryogenic engineering, quantum software, error correction, and system integration. Now the system integration last point is one of the key point in the hardware section or in this particular layer, because it is going to be the main moat for any businesses to move forward. So system integration is going to be the key differentiator, or is going to be the moat for any business operating in this particular domain. So now, who should be listening to this monologue? The topic is very much relevant for companies working in the area of semiconductor, control system, quantum hardware, and HPC AI infrastructure. Now, the key question to ask for any enterprise is, which part of the hardware or a software in the supply chain we can realistically build it or participate in it. Now, what value will this create for businesses? 1. Local suppliers for control electronics and components. 2. Domestic quantum hardware and engineering capability. 3. Access to specialized quantum engineering talent in the ecosystem. 4. Collaboration opportunities between industry and research institutions. Then reduced dependence on imported quantum system components. And the last point, which is very important, is creation of infrastructure for quantum R&D and commercialization. However, for businesses to note this is, such MoUs till date have not realized any quantum advantage yet. Now, what should businesses do next? A scalable quantum computer requires an entire engineering ecosystem where we have to first identify where our semiconductor expertise overlaps with quantum now. Then we explore partnership with quantum hardware and control companies, and we develop quantum control, RF, cryogenics, and semiconductor capabilities. Then finally, we'll build small quantum ecosystem prototypes rather than building an entire big large QPUs. Now, as I monologue this article, I'll be sharing on my screen the topic which we are discussing, the algorithms which will be designed here, which industries are would be impacted, which companies are working in this particular agreement, what is the hardware they are going to build, what would be the maturity of the hardware today as we speak, and most importantly, the maturity of the hardware and the business relevance on which this hardware is going to be built. Thank you everyone for listening to today's episode of Q4Quantum. If you like this monologue, kindly like, share, subscribe, and post your comments. Until then, keep learning, keep building, and keep exploring the future of quantum. Thank you.